Last week, the NYPD published its hate crimes report for the third quarter, and the results are troubling. Not that you will hear much about it from social justice types. The incidents involved often defy the left's neat racial narratives, forcing normally phosphorus progressives to go mum. Oh, I've been called a phosphorus progressive by other phosphorus groups who totally aren't trying to falsify statistics and ideas for their own narratives. This article, written as an opinion page by Robert Sherry, talks about hate crime statistics in New York City and mostly talks about three categories: anti-LGBT crimes, anti-Muslim crimes, and anti-Semitic crimes. More on the last one later. So, let's talk about those numbers he uses throughout the whole article. For the anti-Semitism number, he says the number is 246, but according to NYPD's crime department, for the last year of 2018, the reports are counted at 186, which is a bit dubious. And remember, these are reported crimes, not arrests, because those for that year are at 69. Or anti-LGBT crimes. The report says they are at 55 and arrests are at 36, but he reports the number at 63. And for anti-Muslim crimes, he says most of them go unreported and doesn't say any number. He then blows his pent-up load and says what the readers have been waiting for. What explains this silence? The perpetrators have been disproportionately black. He then proceeds to back this up by cherry-picking data from specific parts of years where black crime was high. When the data till then and since then has indicated differing statistics. That is, arrests are disproportionately, but not to the margin he depicts. And you might think, but hey, that's still not cool, though no matter the margin. To that, I would ask you to read this article that describes the wide reasons for these arrests, and I would also like to then remind you active policing policies against Black Americans and other factors that have already been covered widely, so I shall not repeat them here, that have always shifted these numbers. Moving on to his comments about Bernie Sanders and his essay that, according to him, Senator Bernie Sanders frames the problem as one having entirely to do with far-right white supremacist ideology. But if you were to read the said essay, it talks about the American right wing in general, and that doesn't match up with what's being said unless he's conflating the American right with the far right. At the end, he uses the classic, the problem is way more complicated and is not like what they think it is. To which I would say, when did anyone claim otherwise? And furthermore, even if the numbers I gave were wrong, there never was a clean racial narrative on the left. Damn, why do I feel so empty inside? Is that no proper discrediting? What's this? An already discredited person who fuels hate and fearmongers? Maybe this is the answer to that undying thirst inside me. So originally this video was only going to be about Carl Benjamin and his video about anti-Semitic crimes, but I found this article way more serious and less delirious about its claims, and decided to cover that. So the data for anti-Semitic crimes is more detailed in terms of having a yearly breakdown, which I didn't do for the rest of the data because I realized you should only apply logic when the other side does so too. So here, I'll quickly present his whole argument to you quickly.
According to the New York Post, the attackers come from all walks of New York City life. They are black, white, Hispanic, Muslim men and women. Well, is that a fact? Publications where they try to avoid talking about the ethnicity of the people doing the attacks, or try to blanket say, oh no, this is men and women, black, white, grey, every ethnicity, every gender is attacking Jews. That's not really true. The question is, why is it that black people in New York, and Brooklyn in particular it appears, seem to have a problem with Jews? I don't know that these are directly connected, but if I had to start looking in one area, that would be a start. But I don't know. It might have absolutely nothing to do with Louis Farrakhan. Everyone seems to want to cover up the fact that black people and Hispanic people, but mostly that these attackers are black, because apparently a significant number of these attacks on Jews are also being done by Hispanics. But it doesn't appear to be white people mostly. It's not the alt-right. It's very much against anti-Semitism. He has Jews in his family. Ivanka Trump converted to Judaism. He does not have any issue with Jews, as literally the one bigotry they can't really pin on him, to be honest. Why? Why are there so many black people who have problems with Jews?
And all the evidence he has backing all of it up.
I don't know, and I don't think anyone else knows. I don't know. I haven't got the answers here. I have read an awful lot of articles.
So, not to stretch this out like the original script, but
the title suggests an answer which is not true. He alludes all the attacks to blacks and Hispanics, but the data doesn't back that up. He defends the alt-right by citing no numbers, but just talking about incidents which he found by searching black hate crimes in New York. He calls Twitter activists dumb when they blame the source of anti-Semitism, but the perpetrator turns out to be black, invalidating their whole argument apparently. And to end with it, his concerns about this all spreading because this is an ideology apparently.
See, I can compress a 4-page rant into about 100 words. Either ways, the message from the first script holds up. I'll plead for you to just look things up, listen to the other side, and actually think about things, not just get spoon-fed by other people. Extending to this, don't assume things exist without being able to prove their existence. Looking at you, Robert.